Hello, and welcome to Firmly AEW. And without further ado, Drew Nicholas.
When he calls for me, I am ready. I'll wash his feet with my hair if he needs. Forgive him if his tongue lies to his brain. Even after 3 times he betrays me. I'll bring him down, down. King with no crown, king with no crown. I'm just a holy fool, oh baby, it's so cruel, but I'm still in love with Judas, baby. I'm just a holy fool, oh baby, it's so cruel, but I'm still in love with Judas, baby. Oh, I'm in love with Judas, Judas. Oh, I'm in love with Judas, 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 Gaga.
Hello, good morning, love wrestling. It's Sunday morning. You know what that means by now. It's another episode of Firmly AEW. Drew, how we doing? You feeling good after that? After that number that you just did there?
Listen.
I knew it wasn't gonna be. I knew it. The second
I said I was singing Judas, so I did not lie.
It's true.
I just didn't say which Judas. I said I was singing Judas.
It's true. It's true.
Okay. Let me pull the curtain back a little bit here now. I did not know what I was singing until Wednesday night.
Okay.
And it was because it was such a random thing. I was driving home from work and I have YouTube Music.
Yeah.
I just have the YouTube Premium. You know, I've got YouTube TV and music and everything.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, I'm on the highway driving home. Lady Gaga's Judas comes up. It's just like, I hadn't heard or thought of that song in years. And I'm like, oh my God.
It's wild.
You wanted me to sing Judas. And that's exactly what I'm going to sing.
Oh my God. That's hilarious.
Did you like my choreography?
I did. It was pretty good. I'm like, you practiced that.
A little bit. I mean, listen.
I was like, you had to practice that.
I did practice a little bit, yes, because I hadn't thought of the song or seen the music video for a long time. So I did click on it and I did practice it a little bit and I did botch it a little bit at the end there, but that's okay.
Nobody knows.
And but I was like, oh, this is perfect. Because I am absolutely not going to sing Fozzie's Judas. That is not going to happen. So I hope everyone enjoyed that.
That was fun.
I didn't embarrass myself. And
I mean, we'll leave that up to the critics, Drew. We'll leave that up to the critics. But I was off screen hamming it up. I was laughing. I was having a good time. So what we're doing, man.
And
Good
my
stuff.
voice, I haven't had anything to drink yet. I woke up an hour and a half ago, so I'm still a little, I'm sure that I probably could have sang a little bit better had I prepared better. But that's what
okay.
happened. Also, I had the lyrics. I had the lyrics just in case I forgot.
I mean, yeah.
But I didn't.
I mean, I
didn't forget.
I would have had to. You didn't have to look though. You knew him. You just knew him.
I knew. I looked here the whole time.
There we go.
So
we got Omar popping in the chat saying, "What's good, determined Drew and MLB the show." Yeah, that's me.
You were really grinding with that new MLB.
I'm telling you, that's the game I play the most every year. We did Friday. We had a long session. Last night we did 8 hours. I did 8 hours into the wee hours of the morning last night, and I'm still not even like halfway through the shit that they launched on Friday.
Did you even watch Collision?
I did. I watched Collision. You're going to have to carry me for a little bit today, though, because obviously I was at Big Business. I have not watched the replay of Big Business because I lived it. You
got to do something really awesome. You got to be there for a major, major moment.
Yeah, so I got to be there for that. So obviously we'll dive into that show, but a lot of the commentary and some of the promos that I'm seeing in the rundown here, we didn't see. So,
okay.
I'll need you to kind of piece together the things that I would have missed. Drew's voice is going to sound like Cody Rhodes from the behind this.
I'm already feeling it.
Yeah. So my voice is a little hoarse still from Wednesday, because Wednesday was a time, man. Yeah, and that's right, Lawrence. Big Business JPJ. Or as my WWE 2K24 character, Big Bad JPJ.
Oh, that character rules.
Big Bad JPJ coming up in here. That's what I'm saying.
That character, everyone's got to go watch JPJ play 2K because
it's pretty good, right?
That character
it's pretty good.
Almost legitimately looks like him.
Yeah,
it's incredible.
Because when most people here, 95% of the time, I would say 99% of the time, you see me in a hat. But when I'm not wearing a hat, I rock either the hard part or the slick back. Very, like that type of stuff. That guy looks dead ringer, man. The vibe I was going for in that, and we're talking about a friggin' video game. The vibe that I was going for in that was old man JPJ Brody King. That's what I was going for with the vibe of that.
Old man JPJ, but you know what? You pulled it off.
Me in Brody King form.
You pulled it off. Absolutely.
Thank you. We got. It's either Spencer or Zach. It's 8 a.m. Spencer time. I think
Zach, by the way, if that is Zach, and maybe 2 other people knew what was going to happen.
I didn't even know. I didn't even know. Yeah, I knew within a minute of us going on the air what was going to happen. I was kept out of the dark. No, kept in the dark. Is that how you say it? I was kept in the dark. Anyway. All right, let's dive up on in here. We're going to talk some Collision. Because I was there, we're going to talk Rampage. I don't know if you watched Rampage at all, Drew. Takeshita and Commander, I don't know if you saw that.
I did not.
Probably the best match we saw on Wednesday night. Period.
I heard about that, and I'm definitely... I do record Rampage every week.
Yeah.
I just don't get around to it, unfortunately, even though it's the shortest show of everything that we watch.
It truly is. And I record it and I usually keep up with it, but we don't talk about it weekly. We just don't. But because I was in the building, I figured,
we are going to talk about it today.
Just a smidge, not too crazy. Lawrence, I don't know if you popped in right at the beginning of the show, but Drew sang. We had a cold open. It was very Saturday Night Live. I wanted to kind of do it like, ladies and gentlemen, the weekend. But I wanted to do it like Drew Nicholas, but I didn't. I just kind of rolled with it.
That is okay. I swear to God, sometimes we have the same brain.
Yeah.
I don't know how this happens.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that to you. I was gonna be like,
I thought
if you could do it like, ladies and gentlemen, the weekend. If you could, I was legitimately was gonna say that to you.
Yeah, I thought about it, but then I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna go. I'm just gonna vibe. But it was
it kind of felt like that, honestly.
It did, yeah. That was in the back of my brain, like, let's make it feel this way. But we had a cold open. Drew sang Judas. That's what happened. Drew sang Judas. That happened at the top of the show. But all right, we're gonna dive in, Drew, because Wednesday night was big business.
Yes. By the way, since I know that is Spencer, I also want to say one more thing. So when I was on Beards, I put this clip up on Twitter 25 minutes before the show of Spencer calling me a monster, and I almost broke and was gonna obviously reveal what it was, but I held back because obviously
Good. I'm glad you did.
Lady Gaga's fans were called little monsters, especially
I did know that. I did know that.
back
I did
then.
know that.
So when he was like, "You're a monster," Drew, I was like, "Ah, I got
You were like,
hold it,
I
hold
gotta
it
say
in,
it.
hold
I
it
gotta
in."
say it.
But Spencer, you were this close. You were this close to having me spoil it. I swear.
That's hilarious.
But that's why I put that clip up 25 minutes before the show.
I love it.
So
I love it. I knew it was gonna be. I knew it was gonna be something. So,
and I almost
my
thought
actual guess was I was in the Lady Gaga because I know the popular songs of Lady Gaga. I didn't know she had a song named Judas at all.
no. And
So-
fun fact, the guy who plays Judas in that music video is
This song's so
Norman
popular. It
Reedus.
had a music video.
Oh, it's very popular.
Oh, all right.
It gets
And who was it?
celebrated every year on its anniversary.
Who was it?
Norman Reedus.
Oh
Yes.
wow,
Daryl of The Walking Dead.
Daryl, Boondock Saints, man. Oh yeah, and that makes sense because today is St. Patrick's Day, so we just had the Ides of March, where Judas turned on, we're getting around Easter, Judas. It's that time, bro.
Wow.
It's that time.
You know what? I didn't even plan that.
We have the Ides of March where Julius
Incredible.
Caesar, right? What's the guy's name? Anthony or something like that. Stabbed him or whatever.
I don't remember.
Judas. A2 Brute. Anyway, Judas's. Gotta love it. All right.
That version, not the other version.
No. TD Garden this past Wednesday night, it was big business, and it was one hell of an AEW Dynamite. It came off really well in the building. I'm assuming it came off really well on television. But the show kicked off with Renee Paquette in the back of the arena, giving a rundown of the action of what was going to be happening in the evening of AEW Dynamite. And we saw a Mercedes-Benz driving into the arena. And we see the door open. And as the door opens, it fades into... Lawrence, I'm not going to put that on screen, but that made me laugh. That made me laugh
too.
Yes, and it fades to black. It fades to the intro. And then we come back and we see a new Titantron on the video screen. And then all of a sudden we start hearing CEO, CEO. And that chant got over immediately with that crowd. We were all chanting CEO immediately. And then her name popped up on the Tron. Mercedes Moné was here. She came out to open the show. She came out to a massive pop, as you would expect. She gets in the ring. She has the outfit. Her hair looks insane. It matches the CEO to her outfit. She gets in the ring.
Yes, I loved that. Her hair.
It was awesome. She looked like a superstar. It felt like a superstar. The crowd treated her like a superstar, and AEW treated her like a superstar. And she gets in the ring, and she cuts a pretty heartfelt, emotional promo. She thanks the fans for sticking with her through all her great moments before she got to AEW. She thanks her fans for sticking with her over this past year and a half, where she, a couple years where she clearly walked, she left WWE due to unhappiness, kind of went out on her own, got injured, was out for a while. And now she said, now she's here. She needs to be here. She wants to be here. She said the women in the roster that have already been here are the reason why she wanted to be here. She said she can't wait to chop it up with all of them. She mentioned, yeah, we're going to talk about that, Lawrence. she says in her promo that the women are main eventing Dynamite, which
Yes.
they did, which we'll talk about. But the women were main eventing that night. She made a shout out to North Andover, Massachusetts, and Chaotic Wrestling, where she started. That got a good pop from the crowd. I know my section started blacking out when they talked about Chaotic and how she started training there in North Andover, like which is literally 10 minutes from where I'm sitting right now, North Andover, Massachusetts. And she mentioned how she was an 18-year-old, like basically just like a little girl, a little 18-year-old girl going to North Andover and starting wrestling school at Chaotic. And now, in my opinion, I know, people will argue CM Punk, but in my opinion, she's the biggest signing in the history of that company as of this moment.
As of this
That's
moment,
how
absolutely.
that's how I feel about it. And I think they treated her as such. She also mentioned Willow Nightingale personally, who was in the main event that we'll talk about in a little bit. She mentioned Willow Nightingale personally. She said they have some unfinished business, which they clearly do. The one match they had to be cut short because of Mercedes' injury. I thought it was fantastic, Drew. It was a homecoming. The crowd knew. We all knew it was happening. It felt the same way that it did when CM Punk debuted. They didn't mess around. It was right at the beginning. Came right out. We know that she's here. So
So
why
you think
waste
that was the
anybody's
right
time?
thing for them to do?
I do. Yeah.
Okay.
I think they needed to treat her the same way they treated. It's that level of a signing to me. Obviously, Punk was away for 7 years, so like the gravitas behind it was much larger because of the void of him not being around and stuff like that. But to me, you got to treat that the same. I think they did it right. They treated it the same level because it is the same level to me. And I thought she looked great. She was ready for that moment, and she's a superstar, and I loved it. And being in the building obviously felt a lot different. You were the emotion and just she's a hometown girl. She's from Boston. We love our people. We love our people. So it was wonderful.
That's wonderful. So, yeah, the vibe in that building must have been
It was amazing.
like. So, what was it like before the show? Was everyone buzzing about it?
Oh yeah. So in the TD Garden, the arena is kind of like on the second level and up, and the bottom level is there's trains that go right into the garden, so you can take a train right in, and also
Oh,
and there's like a hub as well that has a lot of rest. Like it's almost like a giant food court, but like an upscale giant food court. There's bars, there's a bunch of restaurants, stuff like that. So we were chilling in there having a few beers, and you could feel it. You could feel it. You could feel everybody knew that like we were there for a big deal, like a big show, right? And you know, you feel the vibe is usually good. Boston's a raucous crowd. We bring it. We bring it every time. No
yes,
matter
that crowd. You
no
guys
matter
were
the
great
company, no
on the
matter
front.
what we're doing, like Boston people are passionate about the shit they like. So it's, the vibe is always good, but you can tell when you're there for a pay-per-view or you're there for something bigger, you can feel it. You can feel it. And the second we walked into that hub and we sat down at the bar to get a few beers, like you could feel it. People were chanting, people were, strangers were talking. You could just feel it that everybody knew like, oh, this is a big one tonight. It's a big one tonight. It's gonna be good.
That's awesome.
And it
I would
carried
have
over.
loved for like, you live in Massachusetts, I live in New York. So I would have loved to have been there for the Chicago debut of Punk.
Oh, for sure.
Um, but I couldn't do that, of course. And I have been lucky enough to be at a few I was at a I think you know what I could be on I can honestly say because I wasn't thinking about it in this way, but
Hmm.
so I was at Soraya's debut at
Yeah.
Grand Slam 2022.
Mm-hmm.
I was at um I was at the UBS Arena show where Jay White debuted. Those were two big moments.
Yeah.
But the comparable one that I could say was, and this is not an AEW reference, but the most comparable one that I could say was being in the building for Bray Wyatt's return.
Oh, yeah.
Because that was a quite a moment to view live. I'll never forget
Mhm.
that.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, so I can imagine, and that wasn't like known. This one was known.
Yeah.
Punk one was also known.
Yeah.
So um, I can kind of compare it to that moment where the lights go out. In my case, the lights go out. Something huge is about to happen. So
Mhm.
it's like that being amped up and the vibe in the building just being like, "Oh my god, what's about to happen?" So
Yeah.
it's it's so special. It's so special to have a moment like that, to witness that
Yeah.
inside the arena itself. It's great to watch on TV too, obviously,
Mhm.
but because they shoot it in a way for TV that makes it really awesome to view.
Oh, for sure.
But
For sure.
there's just nothing like, and now we both know this, there's just
Yeah.
nothing like being in the building
Mhm.
for a moment like that.
Yeah. And I think this one particularly, and I think I can say it about the punk one too. I think the fact that they were in the hometowns
Mm,
also adds an
yeah,
element to it because you have a bunch of people from the Boston area seeing one of their own on this high, like the people in Chicago, they love CM Punk. They adore him no matter what,
yeah.
because he's one of theirs. You know what I mean? He's one of theirs who succeeded and got to where he did. Same thing with Mercedes. It's the same thing. Like, she's in that building standing in the middle of that ring and she's in her home and everyone in the audience is like, that's one of us right there.
And she
That's
mentioned
one of
chaotic
us who did it.
wrestling.
And she mentioned Chaotic, which is, the biggest or one of now. They were the biggest. They've kind of toned down a smidge, but they're like one of the biggest local independent. Kofi Kingston's come out of there. She's come out of there. Ivar from the Viking Raiders has come out of there. Dijak has come out of there. Mike Bennett and Matt Taven have come out of there. And there's more. There's more. But like that is the factory of New England. Triple H wrestled for Chaotic before, way
Really?
back when. Yeah, like
Oh
New England
wow.
wrestling and like the I don't think it was called Chaotic back then, but he wrestled for the federation that became Chaotic because he was from around here.
Wow.
He's from Nashua, New Hampshire.
Right.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it's all they're one of the main local ones. And the fact that she gave them a shout out was awesome. And yeah, it was just they treated her like a star and they needed to. Parrish, what's going on? Hab guy, what's going on? Thanks for popping in. If you're watching on the YouTube, give us a like. The more likes, the better. It moves us along the algorithm as we continue to grow here and make our imprint in this wrestling landscape here at Love Wrestling. I know it's Sunday morning; it's early for a lot of us, but hey, what better way
Hey,
to
drop
open
a
up?
like on the stream. I
Yeah,
sang.
yeah.
Okay.
Drew sang at the beginning of the show for you people. He sang for you.
Sang for you
Show some
people.
damn
All you
respect.
people.
Unbelievable. We're gonna about to cut you people promos up here. But no, I thought the opening of the show was excellent. I thought the opening of the show was excellent. And then
Yeah.
after they obviously went to commercials, she stayed in the ring a little bit. She went to the ringside where her family was. She hugged a bunch of people. The crowd was still chanting CEO, and you could tell that that moment meant everything to her. Bailey was there. I could see Bailey from my seat
Oh
in the
yes, I was
luxury
gonna ask
box
you
she
that.
was in. Bailey was there. Naomi was there. Um, those are the
Yeah,
two I
that
saw. They
must
were
have been
sitting
awesome
next
to
to
see
each other.
too.
Yeah, they were sitting directly across from where I was in a luxury box. I could see them. And Bailey was blacking the F out, as she should. But Bailey was blacking out, screaming, jumping up. It was awesome. It was awesome.
That's
I was
awesome.
trying to get her attention, but she wasn't paying attention to me.
Yeah.
But I was like, Bailey, Bailey, you're my favorite, Bailey. But she was like, don't talk to me. And I was like, fair enough. But Sasha mentioned Eddie Guerrero in her promo too, and the crowd had a nice little Eddie chant. So
Oh, the
like,
real that moment where she
very
mentioned
cool.
having to take care of her brother. Oh, that was
Yes, dropped out of school to take care of her brother. Like
yeah, that
there
was
was there was
beautiful.
emotional good stuff there, and yeah, it was just very very well done.
Yeah, that was
High
that
ranking.
was a great debut.
It was.
I really loved watching that, and it was emotional, like you said. It was really exciting to just have a big moment like that
Mhm.
for this company again.
Yeah.
Because this is turning out to be quite a year for
I mean,
AEW.
we're gonna talk about because today is St. Pat. First of all, happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Happy
We
St.
should have wore
Patrick's.
green. I have green on my hat.
You know, I didn't.
Um,
Yeah, I wasn't thinking about it.
I didn't. I wasn't either, but my hat, luckily enough, is a shade of green. So we'll roll with that. That's my rep.
Do I have
But
anything?
happy St.
Okay,
Patrick's Day.
wait. I have. Okay, this is not my background right now, obviously,
Yeah.
as you can see, but I do have green above. See, he
Oh
got
yeah.
cut off, unfortunately, but that's.
Yeah.
Oh well, here we go. I have. Oh, you can't see him.
You got green screen, bro. You ruined. Yeah. There we go. There you go.
There we
There's
go.
your green. There's
There's
your
my
green.
green, and also the pickle jar back there has a green
Yeah.
in it. So.
So if you are celebrating today, celebrate responsibly, but have a blast. Go drink some green beer or whatever people do on St. Patrick's
There's
Day.
green beer.
Drink. Around here, yeah, some people will they'll make green beer. So it's like it's a regular beer. It's not like it's a special beer. It's like a pilsner or something, but they'll make it green. They'll throw some dye in there or something that's you can drink. Green beer, man. Corned beef and cabbage all day, all weekend
Oh,
in the bean. In the bean. Mighty Mighty Bosstones have been playing shows in Boston every night this week.
yeah.
They have a
I haven't
doubleheader
eaten. I
tonight.
haven't eaten meat for like 10 years, but
That's
I
pretty good.
love
Dropkick
green
Murphys
beef.
have been playing Dropkick Murphys every year. I'm not a huge Dropkick guy. Don't tell anyone from Boston; they'll disown me. But I'm not a huge Dropkick guy. Like they're fine. They're fine.
Hopefully, Turtleback
Um,
isn't watching this.
yeah, no, I mean, look, they're fine. I'm not going to sit here and say I don't like them or they're bad. They're fine, but they are like they're the Boston band. They're one of the Boston bands, so like they perform a whole week every year at one of the clubs in Boston, like a whole week, every night for 7 days, and it ends on St. Patrick's Day, and then they all go out and
That's nice.
party and rage. But St. Patrick's Day is on a Sunday, though. Everyone's got to wake up and go to work tomorrow. Bullshit.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be that way. Shouldn't be that way. But anyway, all
By the
right.
way, Scott, did I fool you, Scott? Because you tweeted when I said I was singing Judas. You're like, uh-oh,
Yeah.
people are gonna
I don't know.
unsubscribe
I
from
don't know.
Love
Hopefully Scott was
Wrestling.
here at the top. He's gonna have to go back and watch the replay. If not, but Drew did sing. Beans is a great alternative to meat-based food. 100%. 100%. Scott's saying he used to drink green beer on St. Patrick's Day. It's just green food coloring. There you go. Yeah, it's nice and easy. It's safe for everybody. All right. So then after the Monet debut, we have Samoa Joe talking to Renee Paquette. The world title match is next, where that's the first match we see on AEW Dynamite is for the AEW World Championship. So we have Samoa Joe talking to Renee about it. We then see a really well done vignette with Adam Cole talking about Wardlow, kind of hyping up for the match. And then we have ourselves the AEW World Championship match between Samoa Joe and Wardlow. I thought this match was good. I thought it was going to be a little bit better than it was to me. But I thought the match was good. I expected Joe to retain. And he did. And he did. So I guess I'll throw it over to you, Drew. Like, A, what did you think about the match? And then obviously we know where Samoa Joe is going because at the end of the match, we saw Swerve come out and they're going to be continuing their Samoa Joe and Swerve because Swerve is completely over as a babyface.
Yeah, he really is.
What did you think about the match? And then we can dive into a little bit of a discussion about what we think is in the future for Wardlow because I care
So
about that conversation.
Wardlow, I think, did pretty good in this match. We hadn't
I
seen like
agree. Mike from Indeed popping in. What's
hey
going on,
Mike.
Mike? Love to see you.
We hadn't like actually seen Wardlow wrestle like this in a while because he did like a quick squash with I don't remember who that was against.
Yeah. No, I know.
When
Yeah,
like
I know.
he like tweaked his knee and stuff. That was like the last physical one-on-one match that he had because he was in the scramble, obviously. But oh, thank you, Mike. Yes, I got this at the first Grand Slam. Oh no, the second Grand Slam. Second Grand. Yeah, so I really liked it. I did like it. I wasn't like a fan of the putting it first
Yeah.
aspect. I felt like it was a bigger match. I would have put it at like the 9 o'clock hour.
Mm-hmm.
and promoted it to the 9 o'clock hour. But I enjoyed it. And Samoa Joe is honestly like
Incredible.
amazing. He's just
Yeah.
amazing and incredible,
Literally
as you
incredible.
said. Um, and yeah, he is the fact that he is able to. This company has so many people who
Mm-hmm.
thought that they were never going to wrestle again,
Yep.
and at least at the level that they thought they were going to wrestle again.
Mm-hmm.
Samoa Joe, Mercedes, Christian Cage, Adam Copeland, Saraya, Brian Danielson, like it. And I know I'm forgetting some, I'm sure, but it's like
Oh yeah. I
there's
mean,
it,
now you have all these people.
yeah, it's absolutely incredible. Oh, Shibata, who we
Shibata,
saw on
who we
Saturday,
saw, we'll
like
talk about on
another
Collision. Yeah.
person that's like he's never going to wrestle again, and then he was
No.
able to. Kyle O'Reilly,
Kyle
thank you.
O'Reilly.
Yeah, it's just like it's insane how many people are in this company that we thought were never going to be wrestling again.
Yeah.
And Samoa Joe, when he was in NXT and he had the NXT championship, and then he had to relinquish it, and it seemed like his wrestling career was done.
Mm-hmm.
And look at what he's been able to do in the last 2 years in AEW.
It's
And
wild, isn't it?
especially now as champion. It's incredible.
Mm.
Absolutely incredible. He's at like everyone has like found their second peak, like
I love it.
it's amazing. So
It's
I
good.
did enjoy this match.
Yep.
I liked how Wardlow tore up the "Joe's gonna kill you" sign. Did you guys
Yes,
see
I
that?
loved that.
That was so great. It was like, nah, that's not gonna happen. Ripped it up.
Mm-hmm.
That was great. Um, yeah. So obviously, the right person won. Because I definitely couldn't see Wardlow winning right now. Um, although when Swerve came out in wrestling gear, I almost thought, hey, let's do that match right now.
Yeah.
let's have
And
that
that,
match right now.
yeah, yeah. And
Make some big business.
bro, I was coming into it and I was like, oh damn, I'm not gonna be able to see Swerve. Like Swerve's not booked. Like, damn, I would like to see Swerve. So at least, we got a little taste of Swerve coming out at the end of the match. And he lays out security, tries to get in the ring to Joe, and Joe kind of just slides out of the ring and goes, no, on my time. We'll do that on my time, buddy.
Dynasty, I'm imagining.
You think Swerve's got to go over, man, right? When he has the one-on-one, Swerve has to win. No?
And I want
Do they drag it out further?
I want all good things to wait until Forbidden Door when I get to go to Forbidden Door.
It ain't getting past Double or Nothing, Max. It ain't getting past,
I don't think so either.
But they're clearly heading in the one-on-one direction. Dynasty would make sense. A new pay-per-view. You have Ospreay, Danielson, and Samoa Joe and Swerve kind of headline that show, and Mercedes, whoever she's fighting. And we'll talk about there's going to be opportunity for Mercedes because something happened at the end of the show that Hab guy. I think you're right. I think Swerve absolutely has to win the one-on-one and win the title. I would agree there, unless chicanery happens. Unless, and then but I would think
Oh, maybe that's when Adam Page returns.
something like that, or maybe the Mogul Embassy get involved, or get involved and something goes haywire and it causes Swerve to, I don't know, something.
Obviously,
Double or Nothing.
we just
Double or
want him to
Nothing.
win.
Yes, Double or Nothing seems to be one of their biggest 2 shows every year. So I don't know if you would wait to do it there, but I think you should do it whenever the match happens. Like Swerve's over, Swerve's the guy. And then what I would do is I would have Hangman come back. I would have Swerve win at Dynasty. There you go. Mike just said it. I would have Swerve win at Dynasty, and then my main event of Double or Nothing is Swerve and Hangman, like the last blow off for the title, 1-on-1, exploding barbed wire death match for Mike. That's what I would do. like Mike was on here with us on Beards with us when we were doing a preview, and Mike was like, I feel like Swerve and Hangman can only end in a proper exploding barbed wire death match, a proper one.
Yeah,
and we were
I
all
don't
like,
disagree with that.
that makes
I think that would be
1,000%
incredible.
sense. Hangman drank his blood. Where do you go from there?
Yeah,
what can you do? What can you do that is higher than a human being drinking another human being's blood? It's an exploding barbed wire death match. That's what it is.
Yeah, and truly, you know, as long as it's like practiced beforehand, it doesn't end like the first one did. I feel like that could be their Hell in a Cell style, you know, feud ender, you know.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I'm good with it.
It would be
because usually, you go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
It would be like practice first. Well, didn't look like it, unfortunately, from the ending product.
Scott just said the last one looked like they were practicing Gilbert's entrance. That's what happened there. But yeah.
And obviously that's not on the performers. That's on
no. It's Kenny Omega and John Moxley, for crying out loud.
Yeah, it wasn't on them. It was that. Oops, the pyro decided to not go off in the way that it had been planned to go off. So,
hilarious.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. The company that you.
Oh, wow. All right. So there you go. So they need to hire a good company, get it in there.
Yeah, and I think at this point they can hire a good company.
I think so. But that's what I would do.
Yeah,
I would
that should be their feud. You know, they have Blood and Guts, which is like
in Texas Death. Texas Death has been used as a feud ender before, but Swerve and Hangman.
I think the problem with Texas Death or something Death is they overdo it now. Like I think there's been like 2 or 3 Texas Death matches since Texas the death that match that they
My
did
thing is like the Texas Death between Hangman and Swerve, that was like the midpoint of the feud. That was the second match. And
which
like, you know what I mean? Like
to think
that, you know, usually like a Texas Death or something like that is that we're blowing it off here, man. Like this is the end here. We got to fight each other to the death because you've been pissing me off for 3 months. That was right in the middle towards the beginning.
Yeah, that you could say that was the 3rd inning of of their feud,
something like that.
But that's a feud I want to go on for
forever,
for extra innings.
Yeah, forever. You can just keep going. They tell me that's the main event of Double or Nothing. I'm like, okay, everyone should be like, oh, yeah, all right, great. Oh, no, people out there, oh, they've already fought. Shut your mouth. Shut your mouth. I don't care about your opinion. I just don't.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But yes, as you said, they're definitely going to be continuing Joe and Swerve.
Yes.
And let's friggin' do it. Let's do it. We now that Wardlow's out of the picture, we mentioned what do we think what's gonna happen with Wardlow.
Where do we think Wardlow's going before we move on to the rest of this show?
I feel like Adam Cole wasn't there for that match, right?
He was not. They did the little vignette before the match.
He didn't come out. They didn't wheel him out before, right? No, I didn't think so. So I feel like maybe now we can get Adam Cole chastising him because you know he was supposed to bring the belt home, so this way he could give it to Adam Cole. Maybe what was okay? So what was the in building reaction like for Wardlow?
I think it was good for the most part. People love Joe though, so I know Joe's the bad. I mean, they're both bad guys technically. They're both kind of heels. But people love Joe. People have always loved Joe. So like the people were rooting for Joe, but Wardlow got a good reception. Like after the match, when Wardlow was walking to the back, like the crowd was like clapping for him, and he kind of, you know, he gave a thumbs up or whatever, and you know, so
I feel like he should be a babyface again.
I feel like I feel like the direction is they kind of do what you said, and he just works his way out of the Undisputed Kingdom. Because again, I'm interested in this Kyle O'Reilly stuff, but I'm more interested in Kyle O'Reilly with his buddies than I am on his own, if that makes sense. And that's not like a detriment at Kyle O'Reilly. I just think Kyle O'Reilly with that group and with his friends is more of what I would want than seeing Kyle O'Reilly on a singles run by himself, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and there were some interesting things that happened on Collision that we're going to talk about, and after Collision, because there was a video after Collision with Kyle O'Reilly. I don't know if you saw it.
I didn't.
Yes, it was.
Was it online?
Yes, it was him talking, and then he's sitting down, leaning up against a wall, and then you see a hand come into the picture.
Oh.
To pick him up, and it was Shibata.
So they're gonna fight.
I don't know. I don't know what it is.
All right, I'm gonna have to go watch that. I'm gonna have to.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah.
I think that regarding back to Wardlow, regarding Wardlow, I think they need to have him and see, the seeds are kind of been planted already of like, Adam Cole saying, "Oh, he's going to win the title and he's just going to hand it to me," which makes me definitely know, not confirmed reporting or anything, the injury, I think we had mentioned, like, the injury to both MJF and Adam Cole really screwed up the end of the year last year.
1000%.
Because Adam Cole was going to win the title off of MJF.
Adam Cole was going to beat MJF at World's End for that
It was going to happen.
That's what was supposed to happen. At least that's what I believe. And then Adam Cole's injury and MJF being as banged up as he did, that changed the plans. And I think, don't get me wrong, I think they've changed them well. Samoa Joe is kicking ass. And I like what's going on. I do feel like MJF's presence is missed. We talked about that. I do feel like his presence is missed a little bit.
Yes.
But they're on fire, dude.
They are.
They're on fire. Joe's been a great champion.
He's had multiple title defenses now.
Yeah. So they've recovered or like filled in, pivoted very well. But Adam, if all things were healthy, Adam Cole would be the AEW World Champion right now, heading towards Swerve, most likely. Like that's what would be happening here. But you can't, there's not a lot of, yes, 100%. There's not a lot of worse backup plans. There's not a lot of better backup plans than Samoa Joe.
Yeah.
So
and I'm so grateful that he has had this run. Like his run before winning the title was great, but I feel like he's on another level right now. It's incredible for him to be wrestling at the speed, with the agility, and with the ferocity and passion for it still that he does at this, in his age right now, is incredible, and it's so awesome to see. I love watching him wrestle still, and he seems like he has a good year or so left to continue to wrestle at this level.
1000%. We then had Alex Marvez in the back. He's talking to the Elite. And
what a funny segment this was.
Hilarious.
Did you see this? You saw this in the building?
Yeah, this we saw. We couldn't hear the beginning of it, but by the time Okada was yelling at him to sing happy birthday to Matthew Jackson, we heard that and we all laughed hysterically. But yeah, the Young Bucks are, it's whose birthday? Brian Keith's? Whose birthday is it today, Spencer? It was Matthew Jackson's birthday on Wednesday. And the Young Bucks.
I thought that's what he was referencing.
Yeah.
Because that's what Okada said, I think.
Well, yes. The Young Bucks were talking up the 6-man they had in the tag tournament. And then afterwards, Alex Marvez turns to Okada and Okada goes, "It's Matthew's birthday."
Samoa Joe's birthday today.
Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah. Well, happy birthday, Samoa Joe.
Happy birthday to our champion who's on the banner from the AEW.
Our AEW champion, Samoa Joe, my man. I've said this 1,000 times, but I was in the building when Samoa Joe won the NXT title from Finn Balor. And that was one of the 2 to 4 best wrestling moments. You want to talk about moments? Holy shit. But anyway. Yeah, and then Okada goes, "Sing happy birthday." and he makes Alex Marvez sing "Happy Birthday" to Matthew Jackson, and it was a wonderful sight. It was a wonderful sight.
Of course, they had to cut that very quickly because that's a song that is like copyrighted. So
they would probably get fined or whatever,
Yeah.
or get copyright strike.
But did they cut that in the building also, or did
No,
they
they let
run?
it go. They let it run.
He sang
Because the crowd was singing "Happy Birthday" too. Once he started singing, the whole crowd was singing "Happy Birthday."
Oh, okay. So
we were all.
So you didn't watch it back yet?
I have not watched it back. No.
So Alex Marvez goes "Happy Birthday to," and then it just cuts out.
Yeah, like if we say the last line, we're screwed. We're gonna owe $100,000.
Yeah.
So they're like, oh, Scott, you were there. Wild times, man, in Lowell, Mass, for the Samoa Joe NXT victory.
Oh wow, that's cool. Then you guys were both there.
It was the first time NXT had ever been in Massachusetts. They had just started touring. They were playing it. They did it at the Lowell Memorial Auditorium. Fits like 2,000.
Scott, you're a Boston guy.
Yeah, he's near me. I've never met him, but he's near me. But and it was a house show. It wasn't televised. It was a house show. And the main event was Finn Balor defending the title against Samoa Joe. And Samoa Joe won. And he won the NXT title. No. And then like the next day, that night, it was on all the social medias. They recorded it and showed it on like Raw the following Monday. Like they showed video footage like over the week, late last week, this happened. It was like, what is going on? It's unbelievable. We then had a 6-man tag, Drew. It was the Elite, Matthew and Nicholas Jackson and Kazuchika Okada, defeating Eddie Kingston, Pac, and Penta. This match was fun. This match was a lot of fun. Thank God that Pac is back. And we'll talk about him because he fought on Collision too. But It is a breath of fresh air having that guy back. Eddie Kingston, I tweeted about it. Eddie Kingston with the loudest pop a New Yorker will ever get in Boston, in the TD Garden, I can assure you. And Penta is always good. This match was really, really good. As you would expect a 6-man to be in AEW with these guys, just chaos happening, everyone getting their shit in. Just a really, really fun. Cluck Cluck, thank you for the chat. I agree. I hope Pac gets back in the main event scene sooner than later. Just really glad to have him back. He was great. They showcased him well. Eddie Kingston is as over as it gets. They're next week on Dynamite. This Wednesday, we have Okada versus Kingston for the Triple Crown title. I thought that was going to be a dynasty. They were like, no, it's next Wednesday. Okay, great. Thanks. I mean, I'm not upset about it, but holy moly. Looking forward to that. I love the 6-man, Drew. I loved it.
No, I did too. And I gotta say, once again, I didn't think I didn't know what to expect with an Okada heel turn because I'd never seen him as a heel. I love it.
Yeah, it's so good.
I love it so much. And the way that he started that match, gets in, it's like, I'll do it. Yep, me first. And he's just sitting there, he's standing there soaking it up. Yeah. And then he tags right out.
Which I love because last week on Collision, it was the opposite. Matthew Jackson was in the ring and Okada said, tag me in. And he just won the match himself. He beat up all 3 guys one by one and won the match himself. So he acts like, all right, I'm going to do it again with these 3. Get me in. All right, here we go. And then he's the sleazeball. And he's like, no, I'm just kidding. And he just, it was great.
Yeah,
it was great.
It's been just 2 weeks, only 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And it's phenomenal. It's so great.
It's very good. And we get this huge match on Wednesday,
I will get to see Okada probably in Forbidden Door. And that's going to be special.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really happy Pac's back as well because is it Pac or Pac?
I think people say either way. I say Pac.
Yeah, I say Pac too.
But I think a lot of people say Pac. I don't know. Tomato. It is what it is. If he's not yelling at me to correct it, then it's whatever. Whatever.
Yeah, it's a really great match, and then that visual of Okada at the end holding up that title over Eddie Kingston. That was very
Foreshadowing,
interesting.
Drew? Do you think it's foreshadowing? Do we see Eddie losing it on Dynamite, or do we think?
I
I mean,
feel
I
like
feel, yeah.
they
Go ahead.
could. I mean, okay, so now they had a DQ on Saturday,
Yeah, which will, yeah.
which is rare
hmm
for this company.
hmm
But I almost kind of hope that there's a DQ in this match too.
And then you push it to Dynasty, like
Push it to
Dream match or
Dynasty.
something.
I think
Yeah, the way to
that's
go.
the way to go. I think
Mm.
that's a bigger match. It deserves a bigger moment. I could be wrong.
Mm.
But
I'm
yeah,
also not
so
opposed to AEW going, or Tony Khan going back to the F it. We're just going to have huge matches every week on Dynamite again. Remember, like they used to do that on the regular, where it was just like, oh no, these are
yes,
just huge matches you would think would be on pay-per-views, but we're just doing them on Wednesdays. So if he wants to get back to that, I mean, I'm not
I was
against it.
at Kenny Omega Brian Danielson's
There you go.
time limit draw match.
Yeah,
So
there you go. You know. And we're gonna talk about it. I gotta find the picture for it. We were sitting there at Dynamite, me and my buddy, and when this match was happening, we were talking about the tag tournament. And yeah, the 1 hour Iron Man, damn right, Cluck. We were talking about the tag tournament, and I said to my friend, I go, I hope to God that the Young Bucks end up fighting Private Party in this
mm,
tag tournament because it's a callback to the second ever Dynamite when they were having the tag tournament and the Private Party upset the Young Bucks,
right,
which, they don't talk about it anymore as much, but that was a pivotal moment at that point. That was like, holy crap, who's this team that just beat the Young Bucks here on the second ever
right,
show?
yeah.
That was, so I was hoping they would run into each other again, and we'll dive into it. I got to find the graphic for it. But the Young Bucks are fighting are against Private Party in the first round of that tag tournament. And I love every second of it. The throwback city. I think the result will be different this time, but still, I'm happy that happened. All right. We then had a quick little video recapping the rivalry between Adam Copeland and Christian. They are going to be main eventing this week's Dynamite in an I Quit match for the AEW TNT Championship. We will talk about that a little bit more because Adam Copeland had a promo on Collision that we'll discuss in a bit. But speaking of promos, it was then time. Tony Schiavone's in the ring, and he welcomes Will Ospreay to the crowd. And let me tell you, Drew.
Oh, the pop he got was very loud too.
Very big. Very big. I knew that Will Ospreay was a great wrestler. I knew this. I knew that Will Ospreay was one of the best wrestlers in the world. I did not know that Will Ospreay was as good a promo as he is. Like the
Yeah, neither
promo that
did
he
I.
cut on Wednesday was very, very good. He said that, he talked about Bryan Danielson. He talked about his upcoming match. He promised that he'll restore the feeling with this match. And he said that he is the feeling, Drew. He said there can only be one winner between him and Danielson. And I think the quote was something like, and he doesn't plan on dying or something like that. Fight to the death, two warriors fighting to the death, and he doesn't plan on dying.
Yeah.
It's a dream match, Danielson and Ospreay. Ospreay is very, very over. He needs to leave the Callis family immediately. Like he just needs to not be involved with the Callis family anymore. But talk to me, Drew. How'd you feel about this Will Ospreay promo? The crowd was eating it up.
Listen, it's first of all, everyone should be a fan of Bryan Danielson's work. So I think Will Ospreay said the right thing there. It's just really like it's special. It's so special. Special is like I feel like I say that so much about AEW things, but it's really true though. Like to something that you just think would have never happened ever. Will
Mm-hmm.
Ospreay, who is who uh I would categorize as a lot of people's more recent wrestling fans, maybe within the last 10 years, could
Yep.
consider their greatest of all time
Yep.
versus old school wrestling fans of the early 2000s who they would categorize as their greatest of all time.
Mm-hmm.
It's really like this is to be able to have a match like this.
Yeah.
And I mean, we had another match like this on Saturday that we're going to talk about. It's just incredible to have this many what you can consider and call genuine dream matches.
Yeah. You can tell like Tony's just has a list out back and he's just checking them off. He's like, yep.
Yeah.
All right, we did that one. We did that one. All right. Yep. All right.
And
We got,
Brian is definitely
Brian's in a lot of them.
yes, he is in a lot of them, but also he wants to do these matches.
Yeah.
He asked to wrestle Shibata, and that was his first match back in the company since he had to leave to go back.
Yeah, he had to go home for family stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just like, man. And when he said, "Restore the feeling," I am the feeling.
I am the feeling.
That was
great line.
That was
a great line. Yeah,
that was
a great line. The crowd really got behind that a lot and was like, "Hell yeah, dude!" Like you could tell he said, "I am the feeling," and the crowd, no pun intended, felt it. Like they were like, "Oh yeah." Mm-hmm. It was yeah, he got the crowd going, man. He got the
dropped
crowd
some
going.
bruvs because that's
Bruvs. The crowd was chanting, "Bruv, bruv."
Yes,
bruv.
yeah.
Like that became a chant, and he was loving it. You could tell he was eating it up. He was like, "Hell yeah!" He was like, "Hell yeah, man!" Really good stuff. Really good stuff. We then had what we thought was going to be the last time. I mean, it turns out it is going to be the last time we see Darby Allin for a little bit, but not for the same reason as we all thought, which is unfortunate. That stinks for him. I'm sure he was, he was very much looking forward to that. But we had Jay White.
Maybe it's a good thing that happens.
And maybe, yes, because the week before he was literally cutting a promo saying he could die. So, maybe, I don't know. But we had Jay White defeat Darby Allin in what I thought was another really good match. And there's a lot of stuff that happened after this match we're going to have to discuss as well. But the match was very good. The Bang Bang, not really the Scissor Gang part of the group, but the Bang Bang Gang was around ringside and all that stuff. They had a really, really, really good match here, as you would expect. I thought Jay White looked as good as I've seen him in a while, which is what he should be doing, is having one-on-one big-time matchups with people like this, because that's what Jay White does. Don't get me wrong. I like the Bullet Club Gold. I like what we're doing. He's a trios champion. I get it. But this is where Jay White is special, is in this type of shit. And he should be used in this type of shit. And I'm glad he got the victory. I thought he was going to get the victory anyway because they were going to write off Darby because of the Everest stuff. But after the match,
then it turns out he's really written off for real.
Yes. So after the match, they're beating up Darby. They're grabbing a chair. It looks like they're gonna smash his ankle in the chair. And we hear the Acclaimed come out. The Acclaimed do come out. They stop Bullet Club. I mean, they're in the group together at this moment. They stop Bullet Club Gold from doing that. They kind of Max Caster and Anthony Bowens are walking Darby out, which leaves Billy Gunn in the ring with his kids and Jay White. And Jay White hits Billy Gunn over the head with a chair. That was a headshot.
Yes.
Lou's coming in. Here comes Lou. I heard him crying. That was a headshot chair shot, which you don't see that much nowadays. Hey, bud. You coming up? So that was good. And they're beating the crap out of him. There he is. And then we see the Acclaim kind of put Darby down. They go in to defend him. Hi. And the Acclaimed get their asses kicked by the Bang Bang Gang. So the Bang Bang Scissor Gang is no more, Drew. is no more.
Yeah, that was short-lived.
Short-lived. If you bought those shirts, God bless you. God bless you if you bought those shirts. Yeah. So it looks like that they are no more. We are going back to just Bullet Club Gold and the Acclaimed and stuff like that. First and foremost, talk about the match, how you felt about the match, and then how do you feel about the aftermath with that group kind of breaking up so soon? And then we did find out that Darby Allin actually broke his foot during the match, or something happened during the match or the aftermath where he actually fractured
I think it was
his
when
foot.
he took a dive. He took a dive at some point.
Okay.
From the top rope.
From the top rope. Yeah, he did do a couple. Yeah, he broke his foot.
And I think it was in that moment that he group sitting together last night with Bang.
Well, they all had the whoops.
Hey, they got
like
money.
It's like what was it? The AJ Styles Jericho tag team that was in WWE. They
Y2
made the shirts
AJ.
for like a week, and then it was just say that.
Yeah.
So Darby won't be. He put on social media that Everest is going to have to wait till next year. So that's unfortunate for him. But the match itself was,
and you know what? In a weird way, not putting aside the Everest stuff, I think it's good for him to take a little bit of a break.
Yeah, he should take some time off. Rest your body, bro.
Yes. Like,
you're a daredevil.
Actually, legitimately rest. Not take a break from going through glass and all your crazy shit that you do to then climb Mount Everest.
Yeah.
Like, just take a break. An actual break. He hasn't had one of those. I don't think ever.
I agree.
I don't remember him being on a break.
Honestly. Yeah, was he injured at one point? I don't really know. But yeah, it seems like he's just been doing this from day one. Just balls to the wall, daredevil type stuff, out of here,
Yeah. So, and especially now that Sting is gone.
That was one thing that me and my buddy were talking about. We were like, this is his first, like, his buddy's gone now. That's it. He doesn't have to reinvent him. Well, he's going to be out for a little bit, obviously. He doesn't have to reinvent himself or anything like that. But, like, he's got to figure out his role now again of where he fits in with the company, because he's not with Sting anymore. Like, he's by himself again. He's a solo guy now.
Yeah. He hasn't been for 3 years.
Literally. Like 3 years.
He has not matches.
Yes, but he's not. He's been a part of a tag team or with Sting for 3 years, almost 3 years. So he hasn't been. He did the Pillars match and the stuff like that. Like, you know what I mean? But like, he hasn't had a singles run in years.
Yeah.
So obviously he's going to be gone now, resting up the foot, I don't know if he has to have surgery or whatnot, but he's going to rest up the foot and do all that stuff. But like, when he comes back, they need to figure out where to me, he's a main eventer, top of the card guy, but that's a crowded area. It's a crowded area right now. So you got to kind of figure out where he's going to slide back into things as a solo act here on out, but they'll have a little bit of time to figure that out, because it seems like he's going to be on the shelf for a bit here. Yeah. Go ahead. Any other things you wanted to add?
No. So here's what I thought was going to happen.
Yes.
So, because it was being shot in a way that when you watch it, you probably go, "Oh, I understand what he's saying." So the Acclaimed come out.
Yeah.
And Max and Anthony get Darby out of the ring.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it was clear that something was going to happen with Billy Gunn still in the ring.
Yes.
And their backs turned. But they do a camera angle where there's Darby being carried by Max and Anthony up the ramp.
Mm-hmm.
I thought Max was going to turn. It felt like it in the moment.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh, maybe that's why the rap thing.
Because he's been messing up the raps.
Yeah. Maybe it's because that was an Acclaimed thing. And now it's something that, maybe he joins with Bullet Club Gold and turns on them. I legitimately
it still could happen down the line. They could throw another swerve into it if they wanted to,
It just, in the moment, it just made it feel like Max was gonna like attack Anthony or something.
Mhm.
That's what I
Fair.
felt in the moment.
Yeah.
And
There you
maybe
go. Have guy saying he would.
chat if you were
Have
watching
guy
and thought so
saying.
too.
Well, have guy saying he would love a Max turn. I don't know if he thought that was going to happen, but he said, "Holy f, I would love a Max turn."
Yeah. They need to. I like I love the Acclaimed like everybody does.
Yeah.
However,
Yeah, they need something fresh. They need a fresh thing
it
here.
can't keep going this way.
No,
It's got to be something different.
Yeah,
And
I think
hopefully with this the attack on Billy Gunn, they kind of start tweaking it.
Yeah, I agree.
I like I like the Acclaimed the way that they are, but
Anthony
wouldn't
Bowens
hate.
is a.
I wouldn't hate like the rap thing being dropped and it just being
That's
a
fair.
more serious thing.
That's fair. And I feel like if they ever decided to not have them be a team anymore, Anthony Bowens is a singles star.
Yeah.
Like that guy to me, I go, that guy will have a successful singles career. So if they wanted to do that,
I don't disagree with Scott there.
I don't disagree with Scott either. You could have had that tag match been Darby's last match too, and he goes and does his thing, but he probably wasn't leaving, and he wanted to have one big final match, put Jay White over, get Jay White a big time win against somebody who's high up in the company. Darby goes and does his thing, and whatever. I again, like, you look at it now afterwards, and you're like, "Well, that was stupid. Why'd they do that?" But like, if Darby doesn't get hurt, it all makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
They write him off. He gets injured. He goes away. Like, it all makes sense if Darby doesn't. And he got hurt on a freak thing on a dive. Like, how many times have we seen Darby Allin diving off shit? Every match he has.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And he makes it through every time. So I agree with your sentiment, Scott, but I feel like we're saying that now after a freak thing. If the freak thing doesn't happen, we're not talking about it. We're saying, oh, all right, hopefully Darby makes it, and like does Everest.
But that's the thing too. It's like I agree with Scott.
Yeah.
However, I'm happy. I'm actually, it's like a blessing in disguise. You know the phrase?
Yeah.
I feel like it was a blessing in disguise that he got hurt.
I think so.
So that he wasn't climbing Mount Everest.
Yeah, I think so.
But
he said he's going to do it next year. So, all right, fine.
We'll see.
That's good.
We'll see what happens.
Whatever.
Hopefully somebody talks him out of it. But yeah, like I think that it now leads to a genuine rest period for Darby that he has not had. And I mean, he has the crazy friggin' matches that he has, and then has another one a week or two later, and then another one a week or two later, and then another one a week. It's like, calm down, man.
Yeah, literally.
You gotta calm, And I mean, it's incredible that it, like Habguy said, how many times has he done it and not gotten hurt?
Yeah.
Like, he has been doing these crazy coffin drops, the dive down the cement stairs from years ago.
Yeah.
The body bag thing from years ago, the glass incident that we just saw at Revolution. Like, he does all these crazy, crazy things and doesn't get legitimately injured.
Nope.
And this random dive, he breaks his foot.
Yeah.
So I think it was a blessing in disguise.
Yeah.
He gets to actually rest, rehab the foot, and just be home for a little while and relax.
Yeah.
Rest his body. Yeah. And that'll probably do him good when he gets back.
Oh, for sure. For sure. It should, at least, if he does the right things. All right, we have your favorite part of the show. Next, we had Lion Hook.
Oh, God.
It was Hook and Lionheart Chris Jericho defeating the Gates of Agony. This match was fine. Jericho was fine in this match. It was fine.
Yeah, I barely watched it.
Yeah, it was fine. It was a tag match, so it is what it is. I mean, the match was fine.
Afterwards,
yes. So afterwards, go ahead. Well, I'll let you go. You tell me. You got. You talk it through. You talk it through.
Yeah. Oh, this didn't happen immediately afterwards, but
Later on.
it was later on. But we're gonna talk about it now. God Almighty. So Chris Jericho
Yeah.
and Hook are in the back with Renee. It was Renee, I believe they were with.
It was Renee, correct.
And Chris Jericho challenges Hook for the FTW title.
Yes.
No,
Actually, is it for the FTW title? I think they're just doing a singles match.
I think it's for the FTW
Is
title.
it for the FTW title?
I
I don't
believe-
remember him. Either way.
Jericho says Gates of Agony, blah, 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 blah. He's the future world champion in this next week they have a match. Oh, maybe not. Okay, maybe not. Maybe it's not a title match.
Yeah.
I was assuming that it was going to be a title match. No.
I mean, it's happening, bro. Now,
I mean, no, it's happening. But
let me throw something out to you.
Okay.
I think Jericho turns heel on Hook next week.
Well, that'll be a big old duh.
So that's going to happen, and then I think at Dynasty, we're getting the FTW title.
Well,
match
okay.
Hook
Well,
and
there
Jericho.
could be a heel turn, or
Jericho
CMLL guys get involved.
Oh, that's true. You could do that. I just feel like, again, I feel like, and I think we talked about it, I feel like Jericho is in the Cody verse. He's in the Jericho verse, where everything that he does.
That is a very good comparison. Actually.
Like, I feel like that's where Jericho is right now. He's in his own little.
Yeah.
God damn it. This cat.
That is a very good comparison.
Like, that's what I feel like he's at currently. I feel like everything he does is kind of separated from every other aspect or part of the show.
And there's the Gates of Agony also that could still be involved.
That is true. Where the hell is my cat? He's just chilling. Every time he jumps on there, he knocks something off or turns my mic off, or he's shut off the power of my computer before. So whenever he comes in here, I have to be like, "Where are you?"
Yes.
But anyway, so I don't want Jericho near Hook. Okay. But
I heard something.
Yeah, you hear that? You heard that, right? It's unbelievable. Lewis, I'm doing a show, man. Hey. He's eating
My door's closed today, so no cats. No cats will be on stream.
Yeah. Lewis. He's a son of a bee. He's gonna ruin this stream. He's gonna boot me off. I guess.
Hab Guy, thank you for coming in.
Oh, kids are going to the park. Hell, Hab Guy was at Collision last night, by the way. Hab Guy was at Collision. So we're gonna be finishing up Dynamite and getting into Collision right now. But Hab Guy was there. It was in the Ottawa. Yeah, I don't want
see you again
Jericho
next week, friend.
Oh yeah, we will. I don't want Jericho too involved with Hook, but if they want to do a little 2-week thing, whatever. Hook needs to win it. Hook needs to win the feud.
Okay.
If they have Hook lose to Jericho, then I'm gonna be like, what the hell are we doing? What the hell are we doing?
I hope not. Oh yeah, Joel Pearl was there.
Joel Pearl was there as well. So Hab Guy and Joel Pearl were chilling, having a good time. You see Lou right there? You see? Can you see?
Yeah.
Just gotta figure it out. He's like, what the hell's going on over here?
What am I gonna do right now?
Yeah, he's like, there's birds up there, bro. But
my favorite. This is a totally out of nowhere thing because my favorite thing to do is look at cats when they don't know that you're looking at them.
Oh yeah,
because I just want to be in their minds for a second and just see what are they thinking in that moment.
They're quite like, I've never had a cat before this one, and like I had no envisions of ever getting a cat, but like when the opportunity came, I was like, why not? And they're fascinating creatures, like truly. How they operate,
really are.
How they operate, it's like, what the hell are you doing? Just psychopath.
Now he's at the door again.
See, now he's like, get me out. See you later. Thanks. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Right.
So I do not want Hook losing to Jericho. Absolutely.
No. That would be a disaster. That would be a disaster. But again, would it shock you though?
You know what was a genuine like good thing for me was that Jericho was not on Collision. last night.
That's fair.
Because it really was like, I think I said it on Beards, or I said it somewhere, that it's like, okay, it's Wednesday night. There was a Jericho match, and Saturday night is a Jericho match, and then next week, Wednesday night's a Jericho match, and Saturday is a Jericho match, and the next week, and then it's like, I felt like he was on TV like every show for the last 3 weeks.
It's true. I agree. I think it's 100% true. I think they've been leaning in even more with him being on the shows,
Yeah.
even
And
though
I'm
the
just
reaction to him has been kind of, ugh, you know?
I am ready for something else.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean,
Uh,
look, if he wants to turn heel on Wednesday, and that's the deal, but the problem is, though, I feel like if he turns heel, that means he's going to win against.
Yes, I think if they're gonna do that, I think he needs to turn heel and Hook needs to go over. Hook needs to go over. But again, I don't disagree with you. If he turns heel, that's another new iteration of Jericho. They'll have him go on a hot streak because
Yeah,
he's
and
heel now.
hopefully it's not. There's no appreciation
Yeah, I don't need a group.
stuff.
Just have him do his whatever, you know. All right, then we were out back. We had Kyle O'Reilly
You know
being
what?
interviewed.
Let me
Yeah.
interrupt you for
Oh
a
yeah.
second.
Yeah.
I think I would give Jericho as a heel by himself a chance.
Oh yeah. I would too. I would too. I think it
And
would
I
be.
hope that he
I think he would
changes
do
the
well.
music. I know it's like, oh,
Because Drew, you know what happened? He came out as Lionheart on this one, so we didn't get the Judas, right?
he's been for
But
the past few matches. He's been
yeah,
coming out.
but he does commentary for Rampage, and he came out to Judas.
Oh, is he still doing that?
He came out to Judas for commentary, and guess what? Even though the arena, for some reason, and I know you've been to a couple tapings, I don't know if it's because the show's on television, but like every Dynamite I've ever been to, half the arena leaves before Rampage. Everyone. And I'm just like, Rampage, the show, the Rampage that we saw, the wrestling on it was as good as any of the wrestling we saw on Dynamite. The Takeshita Commander match was the best match we saw on Wednesday. Period. End of story. And half the arena's gone. And I'm like, why? I know it's a Wednesday night. I know people got to work on Thursday. It's late. We didn't leave that arena until 11:45 at night. That's late.
Did they tape some of it before Dynamite?
No, they did Ring of Honor before.
Oh, okay.
They did two Ring of Honor matches before. Then they did Dynamite. They taped Rampage out of order. So they taped the main event six-man first, and then they did, whatever, and then they did the intro and the last match, which was the opening match of Rampage at the end. That was the last match we saw.
Yeah,
and then Swerve came out. Yeah, Swerve came out and cut a promo to end the night to the crowd. Like Tony Khan brought Swerve out for the last pop to cut a promo, and then that's how it ended.
They're long though. Like I think that's
the long night. Issue. Like I said, you get there at 7:00.
People are like,
on a Wednesday,
I can just catch Rampage on TV.
Exactly on a Wednesday where most people got to work early on Thursday, and you're asking us to stay there at 11:45. And then if you're someone like me who has a 40-minute ride home, you're not getting home till 12:30 at night.
Right.
And you got to wake, So I get it.
Yeah,
but I don't know.
No show that I mean, I've stayed. Yeah, I've stayed to the end of every show that I've been to.
Yeah, I usually do. I paid for the ticket, so I'm gonna stay.
Yeah,
but
but yeah, it's like, all right, and even the Wednesday shows, like, okay, like every Grand Slam I've gone to, I've stayed to the end.
Yeah.
So I went to the Albany show. I was able to really stay to the end because my hotel was down the block. So
well, there you go.
Oh well, I'm just gonna.
It's not a big deal.
Yeah. So, actually, no. I was lying right there. I'm sorry. There is one show that I did not stay all the way to the end for, and that was the UBS Arena show that I went to because that was longer. That was a longer drive than where Grand Slam is.
Yeah,
that's out in Long Island. So, I was like, yeah, I gotta wake up in the morning. I gotta leave.
Yeah. It's fair. It's fair.
That's the only one that I didn't stay at. But yeah, I understand, and most of the time they've taped Rampage prior. They'll do like a match or two prior
Mm,
to Dynamite, and then tape Ring of Honor and the last match or two.
got it.
I've seen that happen before.
Yeah.
Um, but my personal opinion, I was chatting about with other people about this just the other day. I feel like they should be taking advantage of Saturday shows being on a weekend more.
Yeah. Well,
And
they tape Ring of Honor on Saturdays with Collision, right? Is that what they do?
I think
That's at
I'm
least
not
the vibe.
100% sure.
Yeah, Hab guy was telling me they taped a bunch of Ring of Honor stuff last night
I feel like they should switch it up and maybe tape Rampage before Collision
for the
for the next
following
week.
week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that might be the crowd, there'll be more of a crowd for it,
Mm,
and maybe it'll come off better on TV so that way people will want to watch it more.
maybe. Maybe.
Um, I don't know if that's if the ratings will ever really change because
Mm,
I think the biggest issue is just that people don't put a lot of interest in it because generally it's just a show with matches. So, I
yeah.
mean, I don't
Yeah.
know. I feel like I would tape Ring of Honor with Dynamite and I would tape Rampage with Collision because I would
Okay.
be taking advantage of it being the weekend. You
Yeah.
know, open the doors an hour earlier, get a decent viewing audience in the building for 7 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock Collision taping. You know, even tape it the way that you would airing it. So this way you
Yeah.
start with the opening match and go to the end and then lead into Collision. You
Yeah.
know, I feel like it would be cool if they did it that way.
Mm,
Now, something is happening next week that I find very interesting. That that takes away what I just said. I don't know if you know this. I mean, they
no.
said it last night on Collision. Rampage is live after Dynamite next week.
Oh, I saw that. Yes. Yes.
That it interests me
Yeah.
because I want to see how that works and what the
Yeah.
ratings for that are like.
Hmm.
Because if that is successful,
Yeah. It could work.
maybe because it's live, and I don't know why they moved it. There must be some sports thing or something.
Yeah. There's a sports thing next. There's no Collision
Um.
next week either. So
Oh right. Yeah.
yeah.
So.
I think it's March Madness. I think the March
Oh
Madness
yeah.
college
That's right.
basketball tournament is starting. So
That's right. Yeah.
yeah.
I would. And I know Rampage is supposed to be the TNT show. Dynamite's on TBS. But I would try that out for a little bit, maybe, if
Yeah.
possible. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like Rampage needs to have a different feeling to it. And
Mm,
live, it always has a different feeling.
yeah.
So, and I know that there's supposed to be there should be another Battle of the Belts at some point.
And
It's
those
been
don't
a
matter.
while since the last
Those
one.
just don't matter at all, though,
I
to
don't
me.
know. Well, yeah, exactly. And they would
Um.
do like Rampage Battle of the Belts
Yeah.
back to back like that,
Yeah.
which I feel is a cool strategy. But I don't know. I feel like I want to see what I'm not a ratings person. I really don't care about that. But
Yeah.
I want to see what live Rampage after live Dynamite is like.
Yeah.
And
Well,
that
we're
could
gonna
be
find out.
potentially a success for them.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly, Scott. Battle of no one ever loses their belts.
Yeah.
But all right. So then we have Kyle O'Reilly's backstage with Renee. He announces that he's going to fight Brian Keith in his first ever match back on this coming Collision. He's going to fight Brian Keith in his first match in 2 years. We then see Roderick Strong approach Kyle and says he has a ton of respect for him and he loves him. and he's willing to let him do it on his own. They all embrace. And then Kyle basically tells Renee that he's feeling emotional, getting back in the ring after 2 years. And he's looking forward to getting the win by himself. So that was a nice little promo they had there. We then saw Mercedes Moné in the back walking up to Riho, shaking her hand, telling her she's looking forward to watching the match tonight. And then we had our main event, Drew. And our main event was Willow Nightingale versus Riho. Very good match. With Willow Nightingale getting the victory. And then after the match, Willow gets jumped by Sky Blue and the TBS champion, Julia Hart. They're beating down Willow for a little bit. And then Mercedes Moné comes back out.
Of course. Yeah.
Gets the save. She's in her ring gear now at this point. She gets the save. And the show is then closed with her and Willow. You know, they share a look with each other. Like, yeah, we know we have unfinished business, but, you know, I'm helping. And the show kind of ends with Mercedes and Willow in the ring. I thought it was a good main event.
Oh, yeah.
I thought it was a good little piece of business at the end of the show. Mercedes comes back out. We see her get physical for the first time in AEW. She hit Julia Hart with her finisher.
What is that called, her finisher?
I was not. I don't know if they said it on. I was not.
Was that what she was doing in New Japan?
That's the one she hit in New Japan. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. I don't know what the name of it is.
But I thought. Oh yeah. And I thought overall, I thought it was a good way to end the show. It got a second fix of Mercedes, which the crowd was still hyped for. It was showing her get physical. And now you can go multiple ways. You can have a tag match be your first match with Willow and Mercedes versus those two. You could have her fight Sky Blue. You could have her fight Julia Hart eventually for the TBS title. Her and Willow clearly are going to fight at some point. You made multiple... You created multiple angles and multiple matches for Mercedes right away. I liked it. I love the women main eventing. I thought the match lived up to the main event. It was a very good match.
It was. Yeah. I hope that, because the ratings came out and obviously, it didn't perform as well.
Okay.
But
I mean, that's how I know
that. I know, because I'm not a ratings person. I don't put stock in that stuff. It doesn't affect my viewership. But I know that it is a little bit of a bummer sometimes when you see the women getting an important moment like that, a main event on a big show, and it doesn't translate to good ratings. It sucks.
Yeah.
And I understand that from, the company perspective of like, oh, we're trying to do more with this division that everybody has wanted us to do more with. They've clearly been doing that this year.
Mm-hmm.
And it's still not translating that much to viewership. So and why? I don't know. I can't answer that question. But it hopefully, with Mercedes there now, with more focus on the women's division, it elevates and that translates into better viewership for the division when they main event a show like this.
I would agree.
Because listen, everyone talks about, for years, everybody talked about how bad the women's division of this company was.
Mm-hmm.
Tony wasn't putting anything in it, and it was, some good matches, and people were just disappearing from TV, and nobody really cared about it as much. And this year has been different. We've talked about it on the show multiple times. This year, the women's division feels like it's had a new breath of fresh air in it.
Yep, I would agree.
And people are still not tuning in for it, even now, knowing that Mercedes was debuting on this show.
Well, I kind of, Listen, yes, I think the people that watch AEW regularly every week knew she was debuting. Casual fans that don't watch AEW, if they would have promoted that she was viewing, the viewership would have been higher. So I mean that
Probably.
again, I'm not a ratings guy. I don't give a shit about ratings. I care about watching the show. Did I like the show? Okay.
Yeah.
That's all I care about. I don't give a shit who's watching, who's not watching. I'm watching for me. I'm not watching for other people. So I don't care about the ratings. And the people that use ratings as a factor, shut the fuck up. I don't care. You're not doing shut up. I literally don't care.
I can imagine them
you're a
literally
fucking
sounding
nobody.
like that.
You're just like me. You're a nobody. We're all who cares? What? It's WWE. They've been around for 60 years. They're gonna have fucking more people watching the show. Shut up. You're an idiot. Just like it's just the dumbest shit. And like, but if they would have said, hey, this person is debuting and promoted it and showed her and done all that stuff, that rating would have been higher because you would have had people that maybe are only WWE fans mainly, and they would have said, oh God, that's Sasha Banks. She's going over here. She's debuting this night. Oh, I got to go check that out. And I think you would have had a higher rating, but they didn't do it that way because they wanted a little bit. There you go. Mercedes segment did over 100 million views on the socials and that segment, and over 1 million views. I'm sorry, over 1 million views for that segment. But overall, they were whatever they ended up.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like if AEW, and I think it was the right way to do it, treating it like the CM Punk way, like, hey, you all know he's going to be here, but we're not telling you he's going to be here. They did it that way.
I liked it like that.
And I like it too. But you and I watch AEW every week. So we know.
Yeah.
Joe Schmo, who doesn't watch AEW every week, who knows who Sasha Banks is, if there was more, hey, this person is debuting tonight for us, that Joe Schmo is probably watching the debut at least.
Hopefully,
you know what I mean?
they haven't announced her yet for next week's Dynamite, right?
No.
Have they?
No.
So I would like to see that and then see what it's like next week and see what because she has a dedicated fan base.
Oh, for sure. They're diehards. The Sasha stands,
stands.
you don't remember all that stuff? Like people, the people who love her, and they are dedicated. They are, dedicated is a light term, but they are dedicated. They are a dedicated fan base.
So listen, and again, I don't put stock in ratings. I'm just saying that looking at it from the company's perspective, they put stock in ratings.
Yeah.
And I know that they're probably like, damn, even this couldn't get us to the 900 to million. It's but regardless of that, Warner Brothers Discovery is very happy with this company.
Oh yeah, they're not upset.
There's that oh, no million, that whole stupid bullshit that everybody does, the anti-AEW people. That the people who are putting this product on television don't feel the same way that you do.
Correct.
So shut the fuck up, as you said.
Yeah. That's just kind of where I'm at, man. All right. Man, we went long. It was big business, but we went long on Dynamite. So we're not going to rush through Collision, but we'll kind of, go through it as we can. But Collision last night, Ottawa, Canada. The show starts off with another one of those dream matches that we were talking about on Dynamite, as Bryan Danielson defeated Katsuyori Shibata. This match was hard hitting. The Bryan Danielson's this area here at the end of this match was gnarly looking.
Yeah.
It was red, black. It was gross. But these two beat the crap out of each other. They were being physical, the chops, the blows. At one point, Bryan Danielson sat down in the ring cross-legged, for that moment with Shibata where they both sat down there cross-legged.
And then Nigel McGuinness said, he's sitting on the job.
Yeah, exactly. Great opening match.
There's got to be something going on with Nigel at this point, because he was ruthless last night. He was
Yeah.
ruthless against Bryan Danielson. And I'm
I mean, I feel
hoping.
like he's ruthless against Bryan Danielson all the time,
Oh,
though.
he is, but it felt like more so last night for some
Yeah,
reason. Uh, I hope that this gets addressed soon
I
so
agree.
that they can. I'm imagining it'll be an all-in match. I think that
That
would
would
be
make
really
sense.
fun.
That would make sense. That would make
Um,
sense.
could it maybe be? I hope not, because I'll cry afterwards. But could it maybe be Bryan Danielson's last match that they're building
It
to
could.
with this?
It could. His last
Um,
like full-time match or something like that.
yeah, all
That'd be
in would
sad.
be a good place for that.
Oh, for sure. For sure it would.
Uh, but yeah, that's just me talking. But yeah, this match was
Incredible.
incredible, and it went
Yeah,
long, and
it
thank
was.
God
They
it
gave it a
did.
lot. They gave it a lot of time, and it deserved a lot of time.
Every chop, like you said, Danielson's this
Oh,
neck to shoulder area was just looked like raw meat.
gnarly.
Um, yeah, these two, I said it before, but I gotta say it again. It was special. It really
Mm-hmm.
was.
I agree.
Another legitimate dream match, and them sitting down in front of each other and open palm strikes, and it was just and then Shibata kicking out of the running knee move.
The running knee.
I
Yeah.
forgot the
Yep.
name. The
Yep.
I forgot the name of it, but you know what it is.
Oh, yeah.
Um and that doesn't happen very often.
Agreed.
So
Agreed.
I was like, oh, okay. Uh and then he dodged another one, and it was oh,
It was put together very well. And it was when they announced the match, everyone was like, "Holy crap, we're getting Shibata and Danielson," and they lived up to the bill. They beat the crap. Like it's that type of match you want. They're physical, submission based. You're talking about a former Ring of Honor Pure champion in Shibata. Like that's who you're talking about. This That's how he wrestles. He's physical. They trade blows. He's submission based. He's going to wear you down. He's going to beat the crap out of you. And Danielson
Danielson.
is
I
maybe the
love
best wrestler
what
to
I
ever wrestle that style, ever.
what I particularly loved. Sorry, I just had like a moment. I felt like a rush of air. My door's closed. I don't have any fans on. I just felt like a rush of air, and it just like made me. It was like, wait, what just happened? I thought my door opened or something. Um, I feel like the he was doing this one thing. He did it. Brian Danielson did multiple times
Mhm.
where he took Shibata's arm. It was like
Yeah.
right in the beginning of the match, kind of, and was just slamming it over his shoulder. He did it like a
Mhm.
bunch of times, like 4 or 5 times. It's like, damn, that looks like it would hurt so much to like a regular person, you know?
Yeah.
Um, I don't know if that's a named move or if that's just a thing that you can do in a wrestling match.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, I was like, God Almighty, that looks like it hurts so much. I'm sorry, I got a little spooked by that rush of air that just like went
It's
by
okay.
me. I
You
think
got
a
ghosts in
ghost
there,
just
bro?
walked.
I
I
was
think
say
a
you got
ghost just
ghosts.
walked by me.
Um,
It was weird.
I what? Okay. All in all, how did you feel about this collision?
I enjoyed most of it.
Okay, I did too, but I thought there were some matches on here that were like, I'm glad they had them, but they weren't like, I don't know, like okay. So we had the Danielson Shibata match, incredible, right? We then had what was the stipulation here? It was a TBS championship match.
With Trisha
L-
Dora and
yeah, but it was the loser was banned from
yes, I
wild
actually
card
liked that.
match.
The
What?
loser couldn't come out with their team.
Oh.
Trish Adora is part of the infantry.
Yes.
Julie
Oh,
Hart,
because later
obviously.
on the infantry was fight. Okay, I get it. I was like, I heard the stipulation. I was like, wait a minute, what? What is that about? That makes sense. Okay, so they were fighting, and the loser could not come out to support their team later on.
Right.
Trish Adora again. She's great. Trish Adora is great. This match was really good. They gave them some time too. They had a long match here, Julia Hart and Trish Adora. It was really, really good. The presentation of Julia Hart continues to still be maybe the best presentation of anybody in AEW. They had a really, really good match. Julia Hart won, obviously. But Trish Adora, Queen Aminata, all these wrestlers that we've kind of seen start to be integrated into this women division over the last handful of months, they're all really good, and I'm glad I've gotten to watch them more often because I didn't know a lot about them. I did not know a lot about either of them, and there are others too, but those are the two that stick out to me. There are, I've seen people praise them on social medias before this type of stuff, but like it's been a treat getting to watch them because they're really good and they have really, really good matches. And this was a really good match between Julia Hart and Adora last night, I thought. I just thought it was a really, really good match. And I thought last night Collision had a lot of good wrestling on the show. Because right after this match, we do get a promo with Zach Knight, who is Soraya's brother, correct? Is he just in AEW now? Is that what's going on? All right, fair.
I didn't see an All Elite graphic for him.
I didn't either, but cool. So he has an interview, and he's talking about Angelo Parker and the match that they're going to have.
This is something that's happening on Rampage.
Yes, this is a Rampage-based story. They didn't do this on Wednesday, though. We didn't get any of that. But he says that he was talking about his match with Angelo Parker, and then Zach Knight says that he refused to have the match with Parker tonight. They were supposed to fight on Collision, but Zach refused because he wants to have the match on his terms. So that was that. And he's paired up with, oh my God, what's her name? She was on
Harley
Cameron.
Cameron, I think.
Yeah. That's right. He's paired up with Harley Cameron, who's been in the group with Saraya and kind of stuff like that. So that happens. We then have Daniel Garcia going one-on-one with Lee Moriarty. Shane Taylor and Lee Moriarty's corner. These are two gentlemen that Bryan Danielson mentioned by name when they created the BCC. This is two people that he mentioned by name. This is a match when I looked over and saw it, I was like, oh my God, bro, Lee Moriarty and Daniel Garcia wrestling each other. Daniel Garcia wins. It was a quick, it wasn't a short match, but it was definitely shorter than the previous two matches. But I thought it just gave you a sneak peek, like a taste of what a proper long form match between these two gentlemen would be, which would be very, very good. But I thought the match was good. I thought it was solid. Daniel Garcia gets a good win. He needs to start building up some more wins and things of that nature as he progresses up the card. What do you think of this match between Moriarty and Garcia?
Very good. It was not, I would have loved it to have gone longer, of course.
Yeah. Agreed.
But they're continuing something with Daniel Garcia that they have him picking up wins still, which is good because he deserves that. Mm-hmm. And I love Lee Moriarty too, but he's been, he doesn't have a lot of wins, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But he's good to have around. He's a great wrestler to watch, and he wrestled wonderfully. So I'm wondering what do we think is going on with Daniel Garcia? We think maybe he's going for another title?
I would like to see him eventually get there. Yeah. He already went for the TNT, maybe international. Maybe him and Matt. I wouldn't. I have to look at the graphics.
Yeah, we do have to see. We do. Listen, I don't know if the rankings exist anymore.
They haven't shown them since the first couple of weeks. So,
Yeah, it's kind of weird. And that graphic of the dynasty, the matches, the bracket,
Yeah, I'm
like
I'm pulling it up right now.
doesn't seem
I
like
can't show it on screen, but one of the matches we'll talk about in a few seconds here because I loved how it went down. But we have in the first round, we have the Young Bucks versus Private Party on the left side of the bracket, and then the Undisputed Kingdom will face the winner of what will face Wild Card 1, which that match will be between the Don Callis family and the Best Friends. And then on the right side of the bracket, we have Ricky Starks and Big Bill taking on Top Flight. And then we have FTR taking on the winner of Wild Card 2, which happened last night on Collision between the House of Black and the Infantry, which we're going to talk about right now, actually. First, we're going to talk about.
we don't need to, we can skip a little bit. So we can talk.
We got Danielson.
Pac had a match.
Yeah, Pac had a
Oh,
match.
yeah, talk about that first.
Well,
Yeah.
we will. Well, Pac had a match against Aaron Solo. It was basically a glorified squash match. It was just good to see Pac back. And then afterwards, though, Pac grabbed the mic and he said, Tony, this guy really wasn't who I was thinking about when I said I want to get in some trouble. So find me some trouble or I'll find trouble myself.
Yeah. Ooh,
so
good.
Very cool. That was a very good promo. The match was what it was. Pac beating the shit out of Aaron Solo for a couple minutes and getting a victory. But give Pac something good. I want to see Pac scrapping it up here. So that happened. Then we have the Bryan Danielson promo in the back where he's meditating. He said he was thankful for being able to wrestle Shibata because of their shared history and because he's facing Ospreay at Dynasty. Commander wasn't medically clear. Well, Takeshita beat the shit out of him during Rampage, let me tell you. Holy moly, what a match. And then he talks about Will Ospreay's comments from Dynamite, where Ospreay said that he's willing to die to win. And Danielson says that Ospreay has never walked a day in his shoes and that Ospreay is not ready for what Bryan Danielson is willing to do to win.
Yes, because
there were more lines that
he was never put in a position before where he was told he could never wrestle again.
Exactly.
Like Shibata and him were.
Yes. So I don't know if you wrote down any other quotes or things like that from that promo, but again, another really promos that Danielson does are great.
I just figured out today, I didn't realize this. AEW on their website put up like results of their shows.
All right, that's cool.
And I don't know if this is the full thing that Danielson said, but what they have is they said Bryan Danielson was backstage meditating. Danielson, I'm grateful that I was about to have a match with Shibata. Well, I think that should say, I'm grateful that I was able to have a match with Shibata tonight. I'm grateful that I have a match with Will Ospreay coming up at Dynasty. He said, when he gets in the ring, it's a live or die, and he doesn't plan on dying. He can't walk in my shoes. Shibata and I were told we would never be able to wrestle again. But we banged on death's door. Say what you want about what you're willing to do. I know what I'm willing to do, and I don't think you're ready for that. So that's from AEW's website. Yeah, I mean, I can't wait for this match. It's going to be incredible, and I can't wait to see how they continue to build it up too.
Yeah, I agree. We then had Claudio.
We don't need to talk about this match.
I mean, I thought it was great. I thought
it was a little longer than I wanted it to be.
Really? I loved it. I thought it was two big guys beating the shit out of each other. Okay, I fucking love this match. I thought the DQ
I've kind
finish
of passed my big meaty men slapping meat.
Oh, I thought I'm a big fan of Lance Archer. I think he is one of the most underutilized people that AEW has ever had.
I agree with that.
And when I saw that they were fighting, I was like, oh shit. And it was a pretty good match. They were beating the crap out of each other, but it ended in a DQ. And it seems like the righteous came out and attacked Claudio. And then Lance Archer and the two of them were beating up Claudio. and then we had Danielson come down, and then Shibata came down with the chair
That
to
was
run them
really
off.
impressive. I was like,
So I'm
ooh.
assuming we're going to get a 6-man. It looks like
And
maybe here.
now it made me think. So when I saw the bracket for the Dynasty
Yep.
tournament, I was like, oh, what's FTR doing on there? Didn't Blackpool Combat Club win that match? I think John Moxley is actually taking that break that he deserved for years now.
Yeah, we haven't seen him in a few weeks. We haven't seen him.
And I was like, oh, okay, now it makes sense.
Yeah.
He deserved a break.
Mm-hmm.
And I had predicted that they were going to win that match at Revolution because of extenuating circumstances on FTR's side. But then FTR's been on TV practically every week since then.
Yeah.
And John Moxley hasn't.
Yep.
So good for John Moxley if that's the case, that he's finally getting a well-deserved break.
Agreed.
And now the addition of Shibata, because Wheeler Yuta has been injured for a while.
Yes.
So the inclusion of Shibata tagging with Blackpool Combat Club intrigues me. Could maybe
like kind of filling it. Yeah, for sure.
Maybe we get an honorary Blackpool Combat Club Shibata. Shibata's got the
he fits in. He fits
in with that for sure.
Sure does. Sure does.
That
would be intriguing.
Very much.
Yeah, that would be intriguing for sure. All right. We can skim through this a little bit, but we had a backstage promo with Angelo Parker and Ruby Soho.
Yeah, they just answered it and blah, blah, blah.
Answering Zach Knight. However, one thing that I thought was weird. Did you see when Lexi Nair, like Angelo Parker had his, so he has his arm.
I wasn't paying attention to this at all, so you could.
He has his arm around Ruby, right? He has, because they're like a couple, right? They've been an on-screen couple here for a little bit. He has his arm around Ruby, but it's not like he has like his fingers like squeezing her neck.
Really?
And she's like looking down like she's not happy about things. And then he starts to go off on like this angry tangent about things, and she needs to calm him down. I just got a vibe where I was like, I'm like, why is his hand like that on her? It looked like he was like physically like keeping her there almost, the way his hand, and in my brain I was like, oh, down the line, are they gonna play the angle that he's like a dickhead boyfriend? Like he's like, she doesn't like.
I didn't notice that.
That's the one thing. I don't know why I immediately went there, but I just glanced over and I was like, why is he holding her neck like that? I didn't even care about what he was saying. I didn't even care about what he was saying. But I was like, why is he doing that? Is he possessive? What the fuck? Well, I was like,
I gotta go back and watch that now.
That's the only thing that stuck out to me.
Oh, they're a real life couple?
I did not know that, Scott. Is that true? Good for them.
Oh.
That's true. If that's true, then good for them. But like in my brain, I was like, that's weird. Why is he doing that? But anyway, we then had Kyle O'Reilly versus Brian Keith. This match was great. And Brian Keith, let me tell you, Brian Keith is a guy that I want to see more. I know he got the graphic. I want that guy on my TV.
And he has been on TV more since that graphic.
That guy is great. It was great to see Kyle O'Reilly. Kyle O'Reilly looked great. Did not look like there was a ton of rust there.
You could see one arm bigger than the other too.
You could.
The injury.
You could. Yeah, you could see that.
Yeah.
But I thought he looked really well. Brian Keith is great. Hab guy who was in here earlier said that towards the end of the crowd was starting to get behind Brian Keith. I could see that happening everywhere. It's a good character. It's a good shtick. He can go.
I love his music. I love his whole presentation.
The whole gimmick of it. The whole presentation is excellent. I thought this was a good return match for Kyle. It was a really good match. He got a big win. I thought this was a good first step in coming back after 2 years, Drew.
Yeah, I agree. And then the Undisputed Kingdom.
Yes, they came out afterwards and celebrated with them. And you could tell it was like legit.
Puzzled a little. He had this I could kind of see where this is going. I see what they're trying to do here.
Oh, yeah.
I like that. It's like he's
I
not
did too.
he's not stupid about it. He's like,
He's
oh,
not stupid about it, but they're not being like over the top, like, hey, we're doing this to get you to join us. Like
right.
they're playing it off as like they're genuinely happy for their friend. And he's like, I appreciate this, but I'm not. No. You could
Yeah.
tell he's
And you
skeptical,
can
you know?
in that online video
Oh yeah,
of
I'll
him,
watch that after we get off the show here in a little
they
bit.
kind of like that is reiterated that he's like, oh, it's
Okay.
I'm thankful for my friends and stuff like that. So like, and you could see that in his face when they were carrying him in the ring. It's like, okay, yeah, he's appreciative of them, but it's not what they may think it's gonna be.
All right.
Because they
Fair.
want him to join, obviously, and he's not into
Yes,
that right now.
I agree.
So, yeah, we'll see what happens next week.
And then we get a backstage promo. We have Deonna Purrazzo and Thunder Rosa being interviewed by Lexi Nair. Purrazzo claimed that she would have been champion if it wasn't for Luther and Mariah May, which is true. Thunder Rosa then called out, I think, what she call her? Antonia, which is Tony Storm, but she used like a funny name, Antonia or something like that.
Might have been. Yeah.
Um,
I just love. I cannot get over Tony Storm calling her Donna Palazzo.
oh, I
That's
know.
that
I know.
just killed me, and I always think of that. Like if
Yeah.
people say Deonna Purrazzo, and I'm like, nope, Donna Palazzo.
And then Thunder Rosa basically just calls out Mariah May and Antonia Storm, saying that she's had enough of the nonsense and they're going to chase him down and they're going to beat him down.
Yeah,
So,
and there was that moment between the two of them too in that promo. It's like,
yep,
Thunder never lost that title, and yeah, so this is the type of stuff I'm talking about with the women's division.
yep,
It's ramping up.
100%.
It's
Mm-hmm.
getting better.
Yep,
And I hope that the crowds take to that more because
yep,
it's getting better. It is.
I agree. We then had the first wild card match for the AEW World Tag Team Championship Tournament. It was the Infantry, who is Sean Dean and Carly Bravo, going up against the House of Black, Brody King and Buddy Matthews. This match, Drew, I loved everything that happened here. The House of Black absolutely beat the shit out of the Infantry. All over the arena. Brody King doing pile drivers on the table, on the announce table that didn't break. He's doing they beat the crap out of these two guys. And it looked like, for the most part, this was just going to be easy pickings for the House of Black. Just a squash match, basically. Just moving on in the tournament. But it looks like as Buddy Matthews is setting up, going to the top rope for his finisher, the ref gets distracted, and we see Mark Briscoe appear out of nowhere, and he throws a chair right in Buddy Matthews' face, and Buddy Matthews falls off. And then we see Mark Briscoe run around and jump over the barricade, and Brody King chases him over the barricade. And as this is happening, back in the ring, Sean Dean just crawls over and puts his arm over Buddy Matthews. And we get a 1, 2, 3. And the Infantry gets a not even a first round, a wild card victory over the House of Black in this championship tournament. And they are going to now take on FTR in the first round. Go ahead.
You go ahead. You first. Go ahead.
Obviously, I love the House of Black. And the House of Black are awesome. Brody King, one of my favorite guys on the roster. I love the whole presentation. The Infantry got a promo last week on Collision, which was out of nowhere. They showcased them being in the tournament, and the way the match was going down, the whole time I'm going, you gave these guys time last week, like, to promote this tournament and promote themselves as a team, and you're just going to have them get squashed in 5 minutes by the House of Black? Like, why are you doing that? Like, it doesn't make sense to me. I didn't think they were going to beat the House of. You see the House of Black fighting these guys, and you're like, this is a no-brainer. This is a no-brainer, which is why I loved what happened. Like, obviously, it would be nice to see the House of Black make a run and maybe even win the damn things, right? But the winner of this match is facing FTR in the next round. In my humble opinion, I believe it's going to be Young Bucks and FTR in the finals here. That's what I think. I think that's where we're going. So you're going to have House of Black destroy these guys only to lose to FTR the next week. I mean, yeah, losing to FTR is not a bad thing to do, but like just the way it played out, you give these guys the rub and upset victory, even though they did nothing to earn it. But you give them the victory. They get to go probably have a more well-balanced match against FTR and lose most likely. But I loved it. I thought it was out of the blue. It was different. It was unexpected.
It was, definitely.
It was unexpected. I know Scott's saying not sure why Briscoe's still getting involved. They clearly are still going to keep on going with the Mark Briscoe versus House of Black, because I just almost called him Alistair. Malachi Black came out after, and he was in the ring, and they were all very upset, just staring down Mark Briscoe as Mark Briscoe was celebrating in the crowd, like, haha, got one over on you guys. I loved it, Drew. It came out of nowhere. I wasn't expecting it, and I thought it was cool. I thought either one of these teams was losing to FTR next week, so who gives a like, who cares? You can do something fun and different. It doesn't hurt the House of Black the way it happened, I don't think. So I liked it. It was something different.
Yeah. I didn't hate it. Or dislike it even. It's not that I didn't dislike it. Hate is a strong word. I didn't dislike it. I was just a little confused about a couple of things. One was what Scott said, why Mark Briscoe got involved. But obviously that's because they're continuing the feud. But I don't know why in character he got involved.
Yeah.
Like, I thought that was just done.
Okay.
But okay, they're continuing that. I'm okay with that. I was like, oh, all right. So he got involved. Then I didn't understand why this was like, I thought this would have been like a good show opener.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't hate, because we have one more thing to talk about regarding Collision. But I didn't think that needed to be the main event of the show.
It's fair.
I would have preferred either Kyle O'Reilly's return match as the main event of the show, or Danielson Shibata.
Okay.
I feel like this would have been a great way to open the show and get a shock in the crowd to carry into the rest of the show. So that would also confuse me a little. And then I was like, oh my God, how did the infantry win this? And then I remembered last week the infantry interrupted FTR, and FTR are facing, who are FTR facing?
They're going to face the
they're going to face the infantry. Right.
They were facing the winner of that match.
Right. So I was like, oh, of course. That makes sense. Duh. So when the bracket came out, I should have been like, oh, well, obviously, the infantry are probably going to win this because of what happened the week prior. I didn't take into account the Mark Briscoe factor, that he was going to get involved in this.
Yep.
So it's like, oh, all right. So then it should have been obvious to me. But now I understand Mark Briscoe is continuing with House of Black. Infantry are going to have a match with FTR. And I have nothing against the infantry. I've seen them wrestle before in person. I saw them at Supercard of Honor last year.
Yep.
And Death Before Dishonor, sorry. They're really nice. They're lovely men. I have no issues with them. This is one of the most random things of AEW this year, honestly. It's like, here comes a team that hasn't been on TV for probably a year plus, on AEW TV, at least.
Yep.
I don't know if they've ever been on AEW TV.
Mm-hmm.
Getting in FTR's face. And then a week later, they're winning over the House of Black. It's random, very
We
random.
talked about it earlier, but this to me is the same vibe of when Private Party beat the Young Bucks. Same vibe. Here's this new team.
But there is another Private Party Young Bucks match happening.
There is, but the Young Bucks are going to win that. Like there is
Yeah.
this is the upset of the tournament. This one here, like this is this is what that was, right? Private Party beat the Young Bucks in that first round of that tournament way back when, and then they lost the next round, and that was it. But Private Party had the win over the Young Bucks that then, whatever. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like this is this tournament's upset. It's like, oh shit, the infantry out of nowhere just beat the
But
House
it
of Black.
also
What?
wasn't an upset in the way that normal upsets are, because like I'm thinking, here's an upset: Action Andretti winning against Chris Jericho. That's
Right.
that's a crazy, genuine, legitimate upset. This was like an upset in an interference way, which is like, oh,
Yeah.
all right. Mark Briscoe got involved, which led to the infantry winning. So it didn't have that like upset feeling to me,
Yeah.
like Action Andretti's did or others in the past. So I'm like, all right, the infantry won. They're gonna lose in the next match.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was like it didn't hit with me like the way that it did with you, clearly.
Wow,
You
Lawrence
really
is saying
enjoyed
it's
it.
also Brody King's birthday.
Oh,
Talk about big meaty men slapping meat. Samoa Joe and Brody King have the same
wow.
birthday. That is like a wheelhouse of Joe's favorites. Same birthday. St. Patrick's Day, nonetheless.
That's
Hell
awesome.
yes. Hell yeah. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, so it didn't hit with me as much.
That's fair.
Because
That's fair.
I was just like,
I like when they
all
do
right.
different shit. Like I was a guy who loved the Jinder Mahal WWE Championship win because it's different. I don't give a shit. Try something. It's fine. They're gonna lose next week, and it's not gonna matter. Who cares?
Thank God we weren't friends back then.
You know, it is what it is. Hey, look, did they do good stuff afterwards? No, not really. But the win itself, whatever. I'm good with it. And then we had the main event segment of the show. And the main event segment of the show was Adam Copeland coming to the ring, cutting a promo. He talks about his past with Christian Cage, which we are all we know what that past is. He says that he spoke with the person who created. Okay. I have my notes here, but you might have to help me. He said that he spoke to a person who created Barbie and Janice before saying that he created Spike. Whatever the hell that meant. Which was the name of the giant. And then he pulls it out and we finally see it. It looks like it's like a cricket bat. It's like a cricket bat with nails in it. That's what it looked like to me. Spike. That's what he's calling it.
I'm reading from the AW website to see.
Yeah, he mentioned Barbie and Janice. Am I wrong? Are those doll? Like, are we talking Barbie, like the actual Barbie?
I'm not.
Or is that a reference for a different thing? But he pulls out Spike, which
they didn't put that part in there.
Okay. He pulls out Spike, and it looks like a cricket bat with nails coming out of every angle of it.
Immediately, I went to Buffy. That was my,
Oh yeah.
He said Spike was a female, but I'm thinking of Spike from Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Was it Buffy and Janice and not Barbie?
No, he said. I'm pretty sure he said Barbie.
I don't know. Yeah. So he basically says that he's going to end his feud once and for all when he makes Christian Cage say, "I quit." And he said, next week, Toronto, where it all began, it ends. And that's how he ended the promo. So we have next week. Next week shaping up to be another really big
It's going to be a huge show, definitely.
We got Eddie Kingston versus Okada for the Triple Crown Championship.
Oh, okay, Lawrence.
Oh, all right. Well, there you go.
That type of Barbie, not the doll.
Got it. What's Janice then? Why can't I remember Janice either?
Yeah, what's Janice, Lawrence? Do you know what that was about?
Because that's going to be another wrestling thing as well then, right? The main event, I'm thinking, will be this I Quit match for the TNT title. It's shaping up to be another Dynamite. What'd you think of this promo from Adam Copeland before we got it? I mean, I thought it was good, but it was a lot of stuff we've heard before.
Yeah, that's the
kind of
biggest
thing.
issue for me too, was that,
Yeah.
like, if this was just here's some, some of the quotes that he put in this, uh, talking about how they were friends for 40 years. I'm not gonna call you Jay. Jay is dead. That was
Yeah.
interesting. I was like, oh, all right, you've become Christian Cage. The ego is out of control. We used to talk about chasing our dreams and crushing our dreams. We did that, and then fast forward to now. We talked about me coming to AEW. You were on board. It's, this is all things that I came here to retire with you. It's all things that they said already. Um, yeah. So the uh, the spike, it
Hmm.
talked. So that was a like Lawrence said, that was, he says Mrs. Foley's baby boy. He
Yeah.
referenced Mick Foley without saying Mick Foley's name in the promo.
Hmm.
Um, Spike and I are going to take away your pride and make you say, "I quit." So,
Yeah.
like, all right, it. I don't think this needed to be the main event. As much as I love Adam Copeland,
Yeah.
uh, I definitely would have preferred probably Shibata Danielson to main event. I was surprised
Okay.
when I found out that was the opening match. Like, oh,
Yeah.
okay. Um, so yeah, but I mean, understandably, Danielson, the dream match can't always main event, so I understand that.
It's fair.
Then I probably would have did the Kyle O'Reilly match. Should have main evented. Um. So yeah. So I mean, it's gonna be probably a violent, bloody match.
Hmm.
I mean, with something called Spike with a bunch of nails, hanging out of it. I would imagine it's going to be a violent, bloody match. It's a stipulation match, so that type of
It's gonna
stuff is
be.
allowed.
Yeah. It's gonna be very violent, I think.
So I'm imagining this is the main event of next week's Dynamite.
I would think so. I would think so.
Um. So yeah, I mean, it's going to be uh really violent. I hope, and
Hmm.
hopefully Adam Copeland wins.
I agree. I agree. Hopefully, Adam Copeland does win. All right, Drew. It was a big week in AEW with big business and a solid collision. It looks like we got another big week. AEW's rearing up, man. We've talked about it. They added Perazo, they added Okada, they added Mercedes. We got a Britt Baker coming back at some point. We hopefully have a Jamie Hayter coming back at some point. Kenny Omega is still on the shelf. Adam Hangman Page is off right now. We have so many.
Darby now.
Darby's now going to be off. MJF isn't there. Adam Cole isn't there regularly. Like, this roster is giant, and this roster is filled with absolute studs on both the female and male side. AEW is rearing up here, and it's only March. It's only March.
Yeah.
It looks like some big shit is going to be happening in AEW. We are jacked up. We are ready to go. Drew, let the people know where they can find you before we get out of here. We went a little long today, but that's all in good. We had a lot to talk about. So
Yes,
let the
we
people
did.
know where they can follow you, my friend.
You can follow me on Twitter. MJF, another wrestler who is
Oh, wow. Lawrence is saying MJF is hanging out in Montreal lately.
Oh,
All right.
hmm.
Is he with the lady, Mr. Toot? I've
She
seen him
Canadian.
post some. Yes, I believe so. I
Oh,
don't know if she's from Montreal, but she is Canadian, I believe.
um, you can find me on Twitter at the Drew Nicholas, as it says right there. You can find me on the Roundtable Pro Wrestling Podcast, where we do the Roundtable News every Saturday. Really fun show. Me and Bad Blood. We talk about the week's news in wrestling. And then every Saturday night, following Collision, I collect the Super Chats and the Humber Chats for Fightful's AEW Collision post show with Cresta, Iridian, and Rick, or a combination of the two or three. Sometimes Sean pops in. It's a really fun time, and uh, Yeah, that's where you could find me.
I love it. I love it. You can find me at JPJ Loves Gaming on all social media platforms and on the Twitch and YouTube. As we talked about at the top, MLB The Show just came out the other day. So we're grinding away. We're playing hours and hours and hours of that. So come, if you like just good banter about wrestling, sports, anything, you like baseball, come hang out. It's always a fun time. You can find me here every Sunday, 10 a.m. with this fine gentleman here, talking all things AEW. You can find me on this same channel here every Thursday night at 8 p.m. with my boy Pluggo, doing Between Two Beards, approaching our
Pluggo,
100th.
the reason why I had to sing today.
Yes, 100%. We
Please
are
like the
approaching our
video I sang.
150th episode coming up here soon. So
Ooh.
been doing it for a long time, almost 3 years. So we're doing that. You can follow us here at Love Wrestling on the YouTube, on Facebook, on patreon.com/Love Wrestling. We're going to have some news about the Patreon coming up here in the next week or so. So keep in line and in tune with our socials. But yeah, give us all the love. Give us all the thumbs up. Hit that bell for notifications so you get all our fine live content right in your wheelhouse so you can come and watch us and continue to support us. We appreciate all the love. Appreciate all the chat today. It was a long one, but it was a good one. You guys know the drill. For Mr. Drew Nicholas, for myself, appreciate you all. We will see you all bright and early next Sunday at 10 a.m. But until then, peace out.